Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline, former NC State quarterback, NFL quarterback, Mike Glennon. What up, Mike? How are you, man?
You can add your childhood team, Dolphins, former Dolphins quarterback.
Yes. How was your time in South Florida, man?
It was good. It was nice sunny weather. Got to see, the skill set of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and those guys. And heard you talk about your dad, talk about Dan Marino. Dan would sit in the back of the quarterback room and just sit in and observe.
I did when you when the news came out that you signed with the Dolphins. I did tell my dad. I'm like, hey, your birthday, a Mike Glennon Dolphins jersey. I'll see if I can cook one up. Well, okay, since you bring up Tyreek Hill, you're in the room with these guys, and it's something that Gilio's been banging on all year. You're gonna miss them. You're gonna miss them. You're gonna miss them. I mean, I guess they did, but it didn't stop Patrick Mahomes from doing Patrick Mahomes things last night, did it?
No. Pat Mahomes, to me, is on his way to being the greatest quarterback of all time. I mean, he's 27 years old, 3 Super Bowl appearances, 2 Super Bowl wins, MVPs, and he's more talented than Tom Brady. So I think he proved he doesn't need a guy like Tyreek Hill to go out and be the best. Mm-hmm. And they're set up for a long time of success. I heard something today I thought was a great point. Eagles, they're going to have to pay Jalen Hurts, which means they're going to have to get rid of a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
Kansas City's already paid Mahomes. So, they're set up for a long time of success as long as Andy Reid wants to stay at the coach there.
So I'm driving into the studio today, and Mike Glennon joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. That's Joe Ovius. I'm Joe Gilio. And I call Mike, and I go, one of the dumbest things I ever heard was Peyton Manning. I think it was on the last Manning cast, or maybe it was the playoff game.
No, yeah, it was.
Where
it was
he said, "Oh, nobody makes adjustments. The most overrated thing in the NFL is halftime adjustments. Nobody makes adjustments at halftime. We just go back and eat oranges." And I'm thinking to myself, this might be indicative of the coaches that you played with, Peyton. Because, again, we all assume that Peyton coached the team, right? He got to the line of scrimmage, did his thing. So I said to Mike, Mike, I need a victory lap on this. I need to what were those things that Andy Reid did last night? And much to my chagrin, much like you, much like my wife, much like anyone else who likes to argue with me, Mikey G comes back with, well, they weren't really adjustments. They were just calling different plays. So explain it to me like I'm in 5th grade, Mike. Because that damn sure looked like an adjustment to what they did on the goal line on the jet motions and the different plays, that of the bunch sets that we saw from the Chiefs in the second half.
Let's start with this. I love that you think when it comes to a football-related question that Peyton Manning makes the dumbest comment you've ever heard, and you actually know.
Uh-huh.
I know. Ever sat in at a halftime locker room.
Think about that.
Peyton Manning just, now we're talking about another one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Yeah, forget that guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's exactly right. 13 minutes, halftime. You spend a couple minutes of those going in. You come out a couple minutes early.
Mm-hmm.
The players, they go to the bathroom. They have a little snack. The coaches, they meet for 2 to 3 minutes probably. Then they come back out and say, okay, these are the plays we're going to run. This is what they're doing, and this is what we're going to get to.
Yeah.
You're not in there. It's not like the basketball coach is sitting in there drawing up the plays on the whiteboard like a brand new play. These are the plays we have in the game plan. Now let's call them. The plays with the whole jet motions and all that. That was the first time they had to call it. They had no red zone attempts until that point. So it was clearly in their game plan, and he finally had an opportunity to call the play that he probably drew up 2 weeks ago and wanted to call.
Mike Glennon joining us, former NC State quarterback here on the OG. Man, Gilio just keeps taking L's on the aftermath of the Super Bowl.
That was the best part, though, was I said to him also, I go, tell me I don't know as much about football as Andy Reid does. Because we spent all season talking about what does NC State need to do? They need more bunch formations. They need more motion. They need more jets. And I'm going, am I taking crazy pills? This is not what we advocated for the whole year?
And it happened.
And
Joe,
then lo and behold, in the Super Bowl,
hire Andy Reid as offensive coordinator, they would do it.
They could do it.
Yeah,
they would.
I mean, they could hire me or you.
Does Wendell Murphy have enough money for that to make happen? We'll see. I guess we can always find out. So, all right. So here's my question, Mike. What you're referencing here, I guess, if we can do it to further explain it, like we're 5. We always talk about scripted plays. Every every team has their script to start the games, and then what happens after you get done with the first 12 to 15 plays of a game typically scripted?
Usually you script out the first 15. I've never actually gone back and tracked like how many of those you actually call.
Okay.
The first 5 to 10 usually are get called.
Got it. So I would imagine as we get more and more into the minutia of, all right, well, you got to win that middle 8, right? The last 4 minutes of the half and the first 4 minutes of the second half. How much of that is actually scripted coming out of the half? It's not necessarily you're meeting at halftime. It's just like, okay, if the game is XYZ, what can we now pull in order to do that? How much of that second half is scripted?
The opening drive typically is. So that's what they do. They say, we're going to get to these 5 runs, we're going to get to these 5 passes, and that's what we're going to go with. And then usually the quarterbacks and the coaches, they rank their play. So in the red zone, you might have, I don't know, let's call it 10 to 15 passes, and they're usually categorized by like the 20 to the 10, the 10 to the 5, and the 5 and in, and then you rank them. So my guess is those plays were highly ranked. He just didn't have a chance to get to them until that point of the game. And then he saw it work the first time, so he said, you know what? We're going to call it again. We're going to make it a little different. We're going to do it on the left side this time, and it worked 2 times in a row. It was great. I mean, what Joe talked about, he's right. Static formations, not great because it makes it easy on the defense. What I did learn from Mike McDaniels down in Miami, they motion every play. And it makes it hard on the defense. It causes confusion. You see what it did. I mean, it was wide open touchdown. You know, Joe could be the OC for NC State. Even Joe, with his arm, could have made that touchdown throw.
See?
All right.
Because I was trying to say I wasn't all that impressed with Mahomes yesterday, other than the scramble. The scramble to set up the last score, the touchdown, that was impressive for sure.
Which gets to my – okay, you said I could maybe make that throw. That's not what I wanted to ask you in terms of how could a normal person do this.
I'm talking about Julio.
Well, no. My arm's it's Jell-O. The Jalen Hurts push plays on the short yardage situations, okay? What are they, like 100% on those things?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It's ridiculous how they're able to succeed on that push play. Could I get a first down like that? Could Julio could you get a first down like that? What are we talking about here with that?
My bird legs and tall body weren't definitely can't squat 600 pounds or whatever Jalen Hurts can. But I will say this whole thing where they push everyone in the back, that's kind of new this year. So I don't know. I think you guys could have. Now, the one time when Chris Jones jumped over the pile, he would have chucked you guys.
That would have hurt. Oh, look at Zeke Elliott on the one play he played on the line. I was like, whoa. Whoa. We could not handle any of that.
No.
I don't claim to. I just claim I can draw a play. That's my only claim.
Just like every other media member in the world.
Yeah, maybe. Except I have a whole season's worth of tape to point to and say, oh, look, the exact concept I was talking about turned out to be the difference in the Super Bowl. What? Oh, my God. What do I know about football? Nothing. Clearly. Obviously.
Is this,
even you can't even give me credit.
Watch the Coastal Carolina games next year just to chart how many times they use shifts or margins.
Everyone, by the way, after last night, everyone's going to have that play in their playbook. Every single team from Garner High School to NC State to you name it is going to run that play next year.
Is this what the text thread with you and Julio looks like all the time?
No. Once he signed with the Dolphins, he doesn't communicate with me anymore. We had a nice little season on the podcast. We did Peck Therapy together.
And then he's out.
Mikey was wonderful. Then he signs and it becomes NFL mode Mike. Once he's NFL mode Mike.
Did you have Cuban coffee while you were down there?
I did not, but I did have a lot of cups of coffee because I didn't have time to text Joe. I was trying to study and learn an entire game.
See, he never gives it the
yeah. It's kind of
get these with these excuses. That's all.
Well, come on, not plug and play with the Mike McDaniel system.
No, that was a wordy system.
Yeah,
there's a lot to learn there.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that at no point did you mistake him for me, right? Because we have some similarities with the glasses and the balding and the beard and everything else.
I don't think about that. No, he's got a nicer head of hair than you.
Yeah, it's true. He's got me beat on that one. He's also younger than me. We'll see what happens. We'll see what he looks like in 10 years. All right, Mike, we appreciate the time, man, and we'll definitely have to talk about some more instances in which Julio was wrong. Okay, wrong about that. That should be easy enough to do, right?
I'm sure He could go on the Manning cast and tell Peyton he's wrong next week. Love to have him as a guest.
Maybe that's the goal. Maybe we can pull some strings with the ESPN to get Giglio to zoom into the Manning cast and be like,
it's a semantical argument because they made an adjustment in terms of they called a different play, but also they saw how they were defending the play. Orlovsky went through the whole thing on ESPN this morning and how they were switching the corner to the safety. It was like a little boomerang deal. So maybe you don't want to call an adjustment. I know what you're saying. It's not an entirely new play, but they're making an adjustment to, okay, this is how they're defending us, so this is what we're going to do in response to how they defend us.
Right. I'm not saying there's not adjustments in the game, but the time that you probably spend from offense to defense back to when you're on the field is just as long as halftime.
Yeah, you're not relearning a playbook. Yes, I understand your point.
Mike Glennon, NC State legend, Dolphins legend.
Pack therapy legend.
Pack therapy legend. We'll talk to you later, man.
All right. See you guys.